All right. So we're going to be creating a spread that looks like this. And to start out, we're going to create a new document. And if you're in the home button, you can just click on the new button, which looks like this. New file. We're going to choose print. And then we're going to set this to inches. And we're going to make sure it says letter right there. We're also going to set this to be facing pages. We're going to have 2 pages. And we're going to start on page 2. Like that. So let's go ahead and click create. It should look like this. You should see 2 pages that are facing each other like that. We're going to start off by going up into our pages panel, going into this parent. And we're going to take a rectangle and use it for our background. And we'll just go ahead and apply red. And if you don't see your swatches, you can pull those out by adding one of your properties, clicking on it right here. Or if you want to have them out, you can go to Window, Color, Swatches to pull that up. All right, now we're going to go from properties back to pages, double click, and now we're on our main page. So on the parent, you should now see that the red lines are there, but these should now be selected. This is going to be kind of what goes on every page, like the background, and this is going to be our actual page. Let's go to properties now. Let's create some guides. We'll go to layout, create guides, and we're going to click preview and set this to 3 and 3. So you'll see that it happens on both pages. We're also going to set this from page to margins. And if you want to check that box in case you accidentally had some already, you can do that. Then let's click OK. All right, so if this was a magazine, this would be the fold right in the center. And then we have the left and the right side. This purple line shows us our margins. We generally don't want to go past your margins, especially with text. And these green lines are going to be our guides, just to kind of help us stay organized. So we'll start off by creating a text box. Let's do the text box right about here. And I'm going to just call this one dumb chat. Select it all with Control A or just by clicking on it really fast. And we're going to set this to a slightly larger size. And then we're also going to center it. Now, if the word cats disappears, it just means your text box needs to be a little bit bigger. And then I like to double click on my text box so it kind of snaps back up to where it's supposed to go. So then let's go ahead and select our text and make it white. Now be careful, because if you select the text box and you choose to change the fill to white, it's going to fill this entire box. So if we want just the text selected, you have to have that selected there. Okay, then we go back to the selection tool and back to the text tool. And I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to create a text box that goes from here all the way down to this guide on the top. Try not to go too far over. Don't go past your margins. And then when we go to type, fill with placeholder text. Next, let's go ahead and create these little circles right here. And we're going to do that by using a ellipse frame tool. Click and hold. Try not to use the ellipse tool. They're different. This is more just a shape that we could fill in. And they're very similar, but it's better to just use this so you know what goes where. So then I'm going to hold down Shift and make a circle right there. So I'm going to put next to this circle a text box. And we'll go ahead and fill that. Type, fill with placeholder text. And then I just want to make sure that this is like really nicely centered. A little bit of gap right there. And let's go ahead and make some copies of this. So I'm going to do one right here. and one right here. Now to make sure that these are evenly spaced, I'm now going to select all three of these at the same time. And I'm going to go over here to my align. And if you don't see that, you can click on these dots, or you can go to a window, and then you're going to find alignment. Oh, I don't know where it is. There it is, object and layout. And you can pull this up. And what we're going to do is, it can be a little tricky to know how to set your alignment, because we don't know if it's going to align to the selection that we have or to the page. So if I set it on the page, then I said align it, it's going to push it over to the left. What we want to do is set it to the selection so that it's only focusing on what's here. And then we can say, okay, and I'll make sure these are aligned. And then we want to distribute them, which means evenly space them using this button, because that'll put them perfectly in a row. Let's do the same thing to these guys. Yeah, they're evenly spaced. And now I'm going to select all this, hold down Alt, and then just use my guides so that I know where it's supposed to be. All right, now over here, we're going to put a circle image. And I'm going to use, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to hold down Shift. And I'm going to go all the way up to that guideline right up there. So that's all lined up. And it's okay if part of it spills off the page. Next, let's come over here, and we are going to add an image here. We're going to change this image later, but for now, let's go ahead and put it in. And I'm going to take this one. I'm actually going to go off of my margins. I'm going to go past my margins on this one. And if you hit W, you just see that those lines will go away. Finally, we're going to put in a text box up here. So notice that those colors are different. Don't worry about that right now. I'll show you a way to do that. So I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to push it all the way over like this. And then go to type, fill with placeholder text. And it fills in this whole area. Now I'm going to go to my selection tool. And I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to hit this plus right here. And then drag a box. So once again, hit a plus, drag a box. And what this does is it takes this text box and it splits it up so that if I were to add more here, these are all kind of one text box. They're all just kind of split up into three parts. Okay, so that's our overall layout. Now let's change this to be white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text. And do a Control A, set this to white. And then we're going to say up here where it says basic paragraph, we're going to use this button to redefine the style. So you'll see that all the other text now gets changed. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here, but we're going to use a different font. So I'm going to select this. And let's just say that we're going to go endpoints. And let's go ahead and make this a little bit italic by kind of slanting it, I don't know, like 20 degrees. And then we're going to hit the plus to create a new style. And we'll call this one small text. Now I'm going to go to my selection tool. I'm going to hold down Shift and select all the rest of these text boxes. And I have now this small text is in my dropdown, and it'll change all of them to look like this. All right, let's take a minute now to go find some images of cats online. So I'm just going to look up cat. I'm going to go to images. And for these smaller ones, I'm actually just going to use the thumbnail so that it keeps it nice and small. So I'm not even going to click on it. I'm just going to go straight to, from here, this thumbnail preview. So let's go ahead and do that. Copy image. Then you're going to click on this. So it's selected, right click, paste into. Don't worry if it's not in where it's supposed to go. Click on the next one, copy image, paste into, copy image, click on the next one, right click, paste into, and continue that. I think I got the same cat twice, that's okay. Accidentally move that one. Okay, you can see that all these are a little bit erratic and we can't really see the right part that we want. So I'm going to use now Shift to just click on all these images. And then over here, where it says frame fitting, I'm going to choose this last one, and it's going to do content aware fit. It's going to use a little artificial intelligence to try to guess where we want these. It did okay. This one, it just gave us a part of the cat I don't want to see. So I'm going to just, if you click on it and you see the blue square, click on it again or double click and you should see an orange square. That's going to allow me to move the image. So if I double click, it brings me to the blue square. That's the actual frame. Double click and that's the actual image. It might look a little pixelated. That's okay, because I did use a low quality image. So double click on them. And then if you need to shrink them, you can do that as well. Just make sure you don't see any of the edges kind of floating off there on the sides like that. So when I do this, I want to hold down Shift to keep it proportional. And I just want to make sure I go right up there. Okay, that looks pretty good. You know, for this image, let's, instead of copy and pasting, let's go ahead and save the image and then we'll place it. So I used this one. I'm going to save, wait till it gets high quality, save the image, put it in your downloads. And then we're going to go select this circle, file, place. And it's going to be in our downloads folder probably, unless you put it somewhere else. There we go. And then if you can click on this button, if you want to move it, and then I'm just going to double click and just kind of push it a little bit over so it's nice and centered. Actually, you know what? I think it was probably better before. So let's do a Shift W. We're now looking like this. And then we just have this image to go. And we're actually going to go into Photoshop for this one. So I'm going to go ahead and find a picture of a cat that I want to use. Let's go. I don't think I'm going to go with that one. Try to find one that's got like a pretty like blank background, maybe something like this. And I'm just going to copy this image, or we can save the image. It's probably better if we do that. And then in Photoshop, we'll go ahead and open it. It's in our downloads folder. Double click. All right. Now let's go ahead and use our selection tool to mask this out. We'll use object selection and then just come up here, use cloud and click select subject. And here we go. Now I'll just mask it. And then we're going to try using our libraries to send this over. So go to your libraries tab, go to my library, and then just hit the plus and choose graphic. And there's the cat. Now if we go to InDesign, if we go to our libraries, I like cat's hiding in here somewhere. There it is. There, yeah. I'm just going to drag it right here. And then I think if we just click on that frame, it'll put it right there. So now we have a nice transparent background and can use my content aware fill and I fill it up. we end up with this. All right. And I think that that is about everything. Let's compare it to this one. About the same. So go ahead and export this. And for this one, we're going to actually do a PDF because it's multiple pages. It's going to be easier. And I'm just going to call this one Genoe at, put it in my documents or your photos is fine. And then what you want to do here is check spreads so that it exports this all as one image instead of two separate files or two separate pages. So all spreads and then export. So now let's just check that to make sure everything looks good. There it is. Good job.